What's up, guys? This is Zombie. This is the second installment of my attempt at recording some Demon Souls. This is the first level after the starter or tutorial level. It's Boletarian Palace 1-1, and it's pretty simple, but it's it shows how fun the game is. I had run through it. It took me about 16 minutes, and so because of the time limit of posting things on YouTube, I had to obviously speed it up, and so I had to compress it, not quite 2 to 1, but about that. So obviously it doesn't move this fast, but I wanted to get the whole run through all the way to the first boss battle, and then I'm going to post that separate. These are pretty simple once you get used to it, and everybody has probably played this once or twice, unless you just got the game, in which case enjoy it because it's pretty dang fun. The mobs in this are fairly standard and not that complicated. You can die if you're not careful, especially doing something stupid like rolling in that hole I just ran by, which people do. The thing to do is observe the mobs, and they have standard attacks, usually 1, 2, or 3, and try and read what they're going to do and act accordingly. There's different level mobs. There's kind of standard grunt mobs that you've been going through to this point. Those guys there that are kind of like a lieutenant level. And then you get to the armored knights with the shield, which are your higher level mobs. And this level is your first exposure to the red dragon later on too, and there's different parts of this level that are better to come back to. You don't run through the whole thing first. There's a kind of boss, mini-boss that you need to be about soul level 30 to kill, that I skip in this run through because I'm just starting out. It's a good starter level. It gets you your basics down for the most part, and the path that I run through this, though it's hard to see in this speed, I guess, is kind of the fastest one that I've found. Like I said, my standard time doing it is about 15 minutes. I've done it a bunch because I've ran up one of every class. At first I ran up one of every class to see which one I like to play through before I stuck with one for a while. It's also, assuming you don't take a lot of damage, so you don't use a lot of your herbs and stuff, you actually build up a good base of items and souls to kind of upgrade after you beat the first end-level boss at the end of this. There are some tight spots that are harder for some characters than another, like this where I'm going now. You have the guys that throw the flames and have the flame swords, and they can be a pain in the butt for some people because they get they gang up on you, and your standard defense was to roll. Typically, that's what they teach you. And in some of these places, you can roll off the ledge, and that's game over. You want to cut those definitely so you can get the guys. They could release some dead bodies that were hanging on the side of the castle, so you can loot them, and they have some items on them. But there's usually a lot of those blood stains in this area when I play through of people rolling and dying and all that stuff. But the reason you cut those chains up where I just was is so that when you open this door, and you want to do that so that if you die you can come back, you get these guys that drop. I kind of clicked through them fast, but one drops some, I believe, cloth type of armor. The other one drops a jade hairpiece or something like that. And if this is your first time playing through, I would definitely recommend watching the little blood stains. Oh. And you want to do this. You want to roll off that, pick up the thief's ring here, and either... Oh, I would talk to this guy. There's different things you can do with him, but I generally talk to him. And he gives you a little mini quest in here to clear these guys out, and he gives you a brass telescope, and he If you save him, he appears later in different parts of the game on different levels with little mini quests, and you don't have to save him. You could kill him if you wanted to, but I saved him in this particular one. Here I get the sword, which I equip because I like this sword. It's pretty powerful, especially for a starter weapon. There's also a vendor on this level, but I would recommend you don't purchase anything. You don't want to waste soul levels on buying stuff, especially at this, or souls, at this stage. I also forgot, got rolling ahead. You want to follow this guy if you're trying to save him, because he wanders off and starts fights. And he could die. The first time I ran through this, actually, he ran down to this group, and this group can be tough for people too, so pay attention to it when you're here. That's why I try and pick them all off in one row. He ran down here and died, and then he didn't appear in the rest of the game, and it was a pain in the butt. When he did die, he did leave a little corpse that was lootable, and you got the item off of him, and I don't want to say too much about it, because it can ruin the story for people that are trying to keep it new and fresh. There are places like this one ahead that really keep you... They get groups, and it's good to learn how to fight groups, because you get a lot of that later on, and it really... That's one of the harder things to do, is be able to... When you're charged by 4 foes, these are easy guys, but being able to single one out and kill him without taking damage from the other ones. So that's something you really should pay attention to. You were getting towards the end of this particular area, but there's one more of the guys with shields, and you can either fight him on these stairs, which is what I do here, which is not the best way. I just was kind of trying to do it as fast as possible. Or you can actually kite him back down the stairs into the open area where that guy just fell, so you can roll around pretty easy. And that's what I would suggest. You also here, you want to break that without getting in front of it and release those balls, because it saves you having to kill those guys. And honestly, the first time I went through this, I ran down there to fight them, and they start shooting arrows at you. And the arrows will break the container that the balls are in, and they'll roll down and crush you, and that's game over. So that was my mistake. And here's your first introduction to the red dragon, and I'm trying to get him to flame on so that he could kill these guys. He's useful at this point. I hate him generally, and you can see that you want to time sprints right after he lays down flames. You want to run to this safe area, and I can't leave any items. It just bothers me, so I have to run back and pick them up. But it just, if there's something glowing, I'm attracted to it. I'm like I don't know, a simple animal, I guess. But I barely make it past him this time. Watch this. But I did. No damage. Continue on. Where this is, you want to pull this. This opens the gate to the first boss, and I cut it off because I'm trying to save time. But watch it. It's neat. But this is the last kind of run up to the last boss, or first boss. I'm sorry. And you're going to get some new mobs in here as you start going down the stairs that kind of prep you for that boss. But it's actually it's pretty good to warm you up, because you have to fight them on the stairs, and it can be tough. Yeah, I missed totally with 2 throws there, and that just made me angry. But these are the guys. They're phalanxes, however you want to say it. Essentially, I guess I think that was one of the a Roman word for a dude with a shield and a pole arm, or a spear, I believe, something like that. But you can beat them on the front where their shield is, and it takes forever to kill them, and it tires you out. Or you can try and roll or run around them. And we're coming to the end here. This is going to end up to the first boss, which is going to be the next video. And thanks, guys.